The Namib is a coastal desert in southern Africa. The name Namib is of Nama origin and means vast place. According to the broadest definition, the Namib stretches for more than 2,000 kilometers along the Atlantic coasts of Angola, Namibia, and South Africa, extending southward from the Carunjamba River in Angola, through Namibia and to the Olifants River in Western Cape, South Africa. The Namib's northernmost portion, which extends 450 kilometers from the Angola-Namibia border, is known as Moçâmedes Desert, while its southern portion approaches the neighboring Kalahari Desert. For the Atlantic coast eastward, the Namib gradually ascends in elevation, reaching up to 200 kilometers inland to the foot of the Great Escarpment. Annual precipitation ranges from 2 mm in the most arid regions to 200 mm at the escarpment, making the Namib the only true desert in southern Africa, having endured arid or semi-arid conditions for roughly 55–80 million years. The Namib may be the oldest desert in the world and contains some of the world's driest regions. The desert geology consists of sand seas near the coast, while gravel plains and scattered mountain outcrops occur further inland. The sand dunes, some of which are 300 meters high and span 32 kilometers long, are the second largest in the world after the Badañaran Desert dunes in China. Temperatures along the coast are stable and generally range between 9 to 20 degrees Celsius annually, while temperatures further inland are variable. Summer daytime temperatures can exceed 45 degrees Celsius while nights can be freezing. Fogs that originate offshore from the collision of the cold Benguela current and warm air from the Hadley Cell create a fog belt that frequently envelops parts of the desert. Coastal regions can experience more than 180 days of thick fog a year. While this has proved a major hazard to ships, more than 1,000 wrecks litter the Skeleton Coast. It is a vital source of moisture for desert life. The Namib is almost completely uninhabited by humans except for several small settlements and indigenous pastoral groups, including the Ovahimba and Obajimba in the north, and the Top Nama in the central region. Owing to its antiquity, the Namib may be home to more endemic species than any other desert in the world. Most of the desert wildlife is arthropods and other small animals that live on little water, although larger animals inhabit the northern regions. Near the coast, the cold ocean water is rich in fishery resources and supports populations of brown fur seals and shorebirds, which serve as prey for the Skeleton Coast's lions. Further inland, the Namib-Naukluft National Park, the largest game park in Africa, supports populations of African bush elephants, mountain zebras, and other large mammals. Although the outer Namib is largely barren of vegetation, lichens and succulents are found in coastal areas, while grasses, shrubs, and ephemeral plants thrive near the escarpment. A few types of trees are also able to survive the extremely arid climate. Geography and geology. The Namib Desert is one of the 500 distinct physiographic provinces of the South African Platform Physiographic Division. It occupies an area of around 80,950 square kilometers, stretching from the Usiab River to the town of Lüderitz and from the Atlantic Ocean to the Namib Escarpment. It is about 1,000 miles long from north to south, and its east-west width varies from 30 to 100 miles. To the north, the desert leads into the Ku Cobalt. The dividing line between these two regions is roughly at the latitude of the city of Walvis Bay, and it consists in a narrow strip of land that is the driest place in southern Africa. To the south, the Namib borders on the South African Karoo Desert. Southern Namib comprises a vast dune sea with some of the tallest and most spectacular dunes of the world, ranging in color from pink to vivid orange. In the Sossusvlei area, several dunes exceed 300 meters in height. The complexity and regularity of dune patterns in its dune sea have attracted the attention of geologists for decades, but it remains poorly understood. Moving north from Sossusvlei, the sand gradually gives way to a rocky desert that extends all the way from Sossusvlei to the Swakop River. This area is traversed by the Tropic of Capricorn and is mostly flat, although some scenic canyons and elevations are found in some areas. For example, in the Moon Valley system, while most of the soil is rocky, sand dunes are still occasionally found in this region. For example, sand dunes occupy much of the coastline between Walvis Bay and Swakop Mound. The Namib Desert is an important location for the mining of tungsten, salt and diamonds. Several rivers and streams run through the Namib, although all of the rivers south of the Cunene River and north of the Orange River are ephemeral and rarely or never reach the ocean. These rivers arise in the interior mountains of Namibia and flow after summer rainstorms. Climate. The Namib's aridity is caused by the descent of dry air of the Hadley Cell, cooled by the cold Benguela current along the coast. It has less than 10 millimeters of rain annually and is almost completely barren. Besides rain being scarce, it is also hardly predictable. The western Namib gets less rain than the eastern Namib. This is due to several factors. Winds coming from the Indian Ocean lose part of their humidity when passing the Drakensberg Mountains, and are essentially dry when they reach the Namib escarpment at the eastern end of the desert. Winds coming from the Atlantic Ocean, on the other hand, are pressed down by hot air from the east. The humidity thus forms clouds and fog. Morning fogs coming from the ocean and pushing inwards into the desert are a regular phenomenon along the coast, and much of the life cycle of animals and plants in the Namib relies on these fogs as the main source of water. The dry climate of the Namib reflects the almost complete lack of bodies of water on the surface. Most rivers flow underground and/or are dry for most of the year, and even when they are not, they usually drain into endorheic basins, without reaching the sea. The Swakop and the Oamaru are the only rivers that occasionally drain into the ocean, all along the coast, but mostly in the northernmost part of it. Interaction between the water-laden air coming from the sea via southerly winds, some of the strongest of any coastal desert, and the dry air of the desert causes immense fogs and strong currents. It causes sailors to lose the way. This is testified by the remnants of a number of shipwrecks that can be found along the Skeleton Coast. In northern Namib, some of these wrecked ships can be found as much as 50 meters inland, as the desert slowly moves westwards into the sea, reclaiming land over a period of many years. Benguela's El Niño spreads from the Kunan estuary southward to, on occasion, south of Lüderitz. Warm waters with depth and associated water flows from the northwest were first fully catalogued by sea fisheries researchers, Cape Town. The research noted the positive effect of Benguela's El Niño on the rainfall of the interior. Rainfall records also show positive values variously across the Namib Desert Research Station, Gobabeb for instance. This event recurs approximately mid-decade. Animals and plants. A number of unusual species of plants and animals are found in this desert, many of which are endemic and highly adapted to the specific climate of the area. One of the most well-known endemic plants of the Namib is the bizarre Welwitschia mirabilis, a shrub-like plant. It grows two long strap-shaped leaves continuously throughout its lifetime. These leaves may be several meters long, gnarled and twisted from the desert winds. The taproot of the plant develops into a flat, concave disc in age. Welwitschia is notable for its survival in the extremely arid conditions in the Namib, mostly deriving moisture from the coastal sea fogs. An area where welwitchias are a common sight is found in the surroundings of the Moon Valley, including including the eponymous Welwitschia Plains. The Namib fauna mostly comprises arthropods and other small animals that can live on little water, but a few species of bigger animals are also found, including antelopes, ostriches, and in some areas even desert elephants. All these species have developed techniques to survive in the Namib environment. A number of endemic darkling beetles species, such as the Namib Desert beetle, have bumpy elytrons with a pattern of hydrophilic bumps and hydrophobic troughs. These cause humidity from the morning fogs to condense into droplets, which roll down the beetle's back to its mouth. They are collectively known as fog beetles. Another beetle, the Lepidoptera discoidalis, builds water-capturing webs. Blackback jackals lick humidity from stones. Gemsboks can raise the temperature of the bodies to 40 degrees Celsius in the hottest hours of the day. The desert is also home to meerkats and several species of lizards. In 1934 it was observed that African lions were common in the coastal regions, mountains, and ephemeral rivers, between the lower Kusab River and the Kunen River. Population. Although the desert is largely unpopulated and inaccessible, there are year-round settlements at Sesriem, close to the famous Sossusvlei area, and other small outposts in other locations. Namib in Angola and Lutteritz, Walvis Bay and Swakopmund in Namibia, bordering on the desert, are the main settlements in the area. Namib-Naukluft National Park. The Namib-Naukluft National Park, that extends over a large part of the Namib Desert, is the largest game reserve in Africa and one of the largest of the world. While most of the park is hardly accessible, several well-known visitor attractions are found in the desert. The prominent attraction is the famous Sossusvlei area, where high orange sand dunes surround vivid white salt pans, creating a fascinating landscape. Access to the park is either by gravel roads or dust roads or by light aircraft from Windhoek northeast of the center of the desert, or Swakopmund and Walvis Bay at the north end of the desert. Notable places: Bogenfels, Moon Valley, Sesriem, Skeleton Coast, Solitaire, Deadfly, Hidden Fly, Spitzkoppe, Welwitschia Plains, Swakopmund, Gallery.